Hello, everyone. Why the hell do you sound so cheerful about this?
Probably because he's amused by the whole situation.
Okay, I'll rephrase. What the hell, Dick?
I would like to know as well, Grayson.
Well, you see, I also want to know why I was dragged back into this.
I want to know when the soonest I could possibly leave is.
How did Dick even convince you to join this trial sent straight from hell? By request, today we'll be reading fanfiction.
How dare you cut me off, Drake?
You guys were wasting time, and the more time you waste, the more time we have to be here. And I have much more important things to be doing, like, oh, I don't know, finding out where all those kidnapped kids are. Okay, all of you, stop it. By arguing, you're just wasting even more time. But what if I want to argue? Then stow it for later. Now's not the time.
And just when is this later? Because oftentimes, later is never.
I hate to agree with Demon Spawn, but yeah, this family doesn't have the best reputation for talking about things. I hate this family.
Then leave, Todd.
Maybe I will. Anyways, we are here to reclaim by Shadow Spires. Nice save, Dick. So, before we started recording, we all drew straws to determine who would narrate most of the fic, and everybody gets to read their own lines, and Damien,
unfortunately,
drew the short straw, so he gets to read. I'm just glad it wasn't me. And I think we're all glad it wasn't me.
I would rather subject myself to listening to your irritating voice for who knows how long than to read it myself.
How come you guys are all so against this? Is he aware what fanfiction is? Vaguely. He hasn't gotten to the deeper dark parts just yet. I don't even think Damien is aware what he's been dragged into.
I am right here. I can hear you two fools, you know.
I'm still here too. Yeah, we know. We just like bad-mouthing you while being around you. I don't. Maybe not Dick, but I've heard many of your rants about the brat.
Oh, like you haven't ranted about me.
I will get the get along shirt out if you don't all shut up right now. Now that we've wasted however long, about 2 minutes. Oh, of course you're timing it. We're going to finally get started now. So, Damien?
Don't kill Dick or Jason. Tim looked away from his computer screen towards one which had been blank a second ago, but now supported Oracle's mask.
Okay,
he agreed tentatively, glancing back at his screen. He didn't think he'd been giving off any particularly homicidal vibes recently, but who knew? The series of carjackings was leading to nothing but dead ends. For all that he was sure, it was tied to the uptick in heroin in the East Quarter. Don't maim them. It was strange to hear Barbara's voice from the Oracle's mask, but it made him turn and actually give her his full attention. I'm serious, Tim. I don't know what they're up to, but I need them both for an op in 2 weeks. No lasting damage. As if Drake is actually capable of harming Grayson.
You think he could harm me, though? I could totally maim any of you if I really wanted to.
Oh, can you now? Then let's settle it, or are you too scared?
Guys. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tim informed her, bemused. He didn't make a habit of injuring people other than criminals without cause. Jason hadn't committed a crime they could prove in months, and Dick had shown no indications toward a life of crime since that unfortunate incident with the mob. He didn't routinely injure allies. Well, except for that time Jason tried to steal the last blueberry scone. He regained feeling in his arm within the hour, though, so that didn't count. All's fair in love, war, and Alfred's baking.
Well, keep that in mind. I don't think I like where this is going. Where exactly do you think this is going? How about you shut up and we can find out?
Good, she said, and signed off of his computer, leaving the screen blank once more. Tim moved the window detailing the connections he was investigating between the carjackings and the drugs, and opened a window to work on tightening his security. Barbara should not have been able to get through to him like that without his system warning him. It's like a game. She breaks in, he improves his system, she breaks it again. Someday he'll stump her, but she will probably never stop being cryptic. Why would he want to kill Dick or Jason? I could think of a good few reasons.
Damien, I thought we were past that. Well, I mean, part of me still wants to kill you. Not all the time, just sometimes. Sometimes.
Can I go back to reading now?
Yes.
No, because they were up to something. Tim was entering data into the Batcave's powerful computer, but he was also using the reflection in the neighboring dark monitor to watch Jason watching him while he pretended to work on his bike. The bike Tim himself had almost entirely reworked last week in a fit of frustrated energy. It was perfect. Tim would be tempted to take offense if Jason wasn't so obviously not working on it. He was instead watching Tim, and undoubtedly planning something.
I have a feeling it's not his death I'm planning. Why is your mind so stuck on my death today? You ate the last piece of cake. Well, the story accurately explained it before. All's fair in love, war, and Alfred's baking. Oh, I hope you remember that next time. Next time?
Drake, Todd, shut up. I've lost so many brain cells just listening to your bickering.
Huh. Well, you must be smarter than I thought then, if you actually lost brain cells. I didn't think you had more than one.
Why you?
Damien, ignore him. The sooner you finish, the sooner we can leave.
Once Barbara had called his attention to it, it was obvious. Tim was actually a little bit embarrassed that he hadn't noticed before. He He was supposed to be a detective after all. Still, he didn't normally keep that close tabs on his allies. He wasn't Bruce, and didn't want to be. But Dick and Jay were supposed to be family. He should notice when something changed with them. Besides, they were notorious for getting into trouble, especially when they worked together.
Why do I have a bad feeling about this?
Just you wait.
Oh yeah, no, the synchronized talking wasn't weird at all, especially since it was all three of you.
It was a mixed comfort to see that they were actively trying to keep whatever it was from his notice. On one hand, they were pretty good at covert when they wanted to be, so he hadn't lost his observational skills entirely. On the other, that meant whatever they were up to involved him. Barbara's tone had seemed to imply that she thought they were setting up some kind of elaborate prank. Like that time they replaced his bow staff with one rig to say, "Leaping lizards, Batman," and other gems from the duo's stint in the short pants every time he hit something. Batman had sent the fuming teen home within 15 minutes, and Tim had gotten his revenge by wiring both of their comms to play the Macarena on repeat almost inaudibly for days, but Tim didn't think so. He had in fact ruled out some sort of elaborate prank rather quickly. They were watching him an inordinate amount, mostly when they thought he wasn't paying attention, and to be fair, he hadn't been. But it wasn't mischievously. It was more contemplative than anything. They had been training off watching him nearly constantly for almost a week. Tim wondered if this was the start of another intervention in his eating or sleeping patterns. He hoped not, especially coming from both Jason and Dick at once. Their methods didn't tend to be all that compatible, especially when they took exception to his diet. Tim didn't really feel like being simultaneously subjected to cereal and chili dogs.
Hey, what's wrong with cereal dogs?
Perhaps the fact that they are ridiculously unhealthy.
There are healthy cereals that you hardly ever eat. It's not like you can say much. You don't eat well. Speaking of that, it's really weird that who wrote this knew that. You're questioning that, but you're not questioning that they wrote about us in the first place? Welcome to the internet, Dickie.
Besides, he was eating when he remembered. This case was just frustrating him. Still, even Bruce had seemed concerned last week, putting a rare hand on Tim's shoulder and leaning down to peer into his eyes, which was weird. Bruce was off for personal space. Tim had brushed him off, gently. He was fine, and he thought he had a break in the case. Maybe I should have been paying more attention, though, he thought, as with Dick's entrance into the cave, Jason gave up even pretending maintenance on his bike. It was just the three of them in the cave this evening. Bruce was at a charity gala, which they had thankfully all been excused from, and wouldn't be back until the early hours of the morning, likely. Damien had been forbidden to patrol, and so he had snuck out to patrol. Tim wondered when Bruce would realize that forbidding Damien to do something just made it more likely that he would.
That is very true. But knowing Bruce, he probably does know about it. And yet, he knows nothing about it.
Dick had just gotten back from tracking him down to make sure he at least was patrolling with abuse, and doubtless to extract a promise to be back before dawn. Dick's bike rolled to a stop next to Jason, and Tim watched them exchange looks, and a covert brush of hands as Dick dismounted. Really, it's not like Tim hadn't known for months they were together. He may not pay attention to everything, but sometimes, like Nightwing spending way more time in Jason's territory without being maimed was going to attract his attention, especially when it was followed by a sharp decrease in Red Hood's level of violence.
What? Oh, there it is. The thing I mentioned last time, Jadic. I didn't know that's what it meant. What do you think it meant? I don't know, just not that. I don't think it's a good idea to continue.
I think we should continue. After all, Grayson, as my supposed role model, now keeping your word isn't very good role model-like. Not to mention, what would Father think of you teaching me by example to break my word, seeing as I'm an innocent, impressionable child?
Oh, snap.
More power to them was Tim's tentative opinion, though he understood keeping it low-key in the cave. Maybe they were working up to tell him. Rather than planning an eating intervention that would doubtless involve copious amounts of saturated fats and sugar, and them both ignoring his protests about fitting into his suit, and oh my gosh, just because you two have freakishly unfair metabolisms doesn't mean I can eat whatever I want to. Oop, they were headed his way. Congratulate them, remember that you're happy for them, happy, not jealous. Happy.
I do not like this. I second that. At least the writing's decent. What you working on, Timmy?
Dick asked, draping himself across the back of the chair, hands coming to rest on Tim's shoulder while his chin dug into the top of Tim's head. Jason slouched just beside him, leaning over into Tim's space as well. Tim hadn't been planning to go out tonight, so he was just in an oversized sweatshirt and baggy pants. That meant he could feel the rough scrape of Nightwing's gauntlets into his shoulders. He could smell Gotham in the night emanating from the Kevlar blend of Dick's suit, and leather, oil, and cigarettes pouring off Jason's jacket. It was a heaty mix.
Really? What? Even though I don't want to be here or participate, I find it kind of funny. Data for the Charleston case,
Tim told Dick, trying to ignore the way that Dick's slightly kneading hands made him feel, and the way their combined scents enveloped him. Dick and Jason were together. Any flirting on either of their parts was simply reflexive.
My computer's running too many other things right now, so I'm borrowing Bruce's. Done soon?
Dick's voice was muffled as he ducked his head to rub his nose through Tim's hair, snuffling a little. Heat rose in Tim's cheeks and he glanced sideways at Jason, expecting him to protest the way his boyfriend was practically inhaling Tim's hair. Jason just looked back at him, so close, face unreadable.
Dick and Tim look like they're in actual physical pain. That actually sounds preferable. Yeah?
Tim stuttered a bit, disconnected by the way they were acting. Were they pulling a prank after all, lulling him into a false sense of security?
I just have to finish putting these in, and then it's going to have to run for a while. I'll be done in 10 minutes. Great!
Dick purred, nose nudging just above his right ear, breath hot in his hair as his hand slid down Tim's arm to cup the sides of his elbows.
I have to go change, then we have the house to ourselves. Alfred's gone to bed, so I vote popcorn and movie night at the lounge. That movie you liked, it just came out on DVD. Oh my gosh. I'm so f***ing amused right now, you don't even know. Sadist. Yeah, probably. Okay.
Tim agreed, near mindless with the sensations Dick was stirring in him.
See you in 10 minutes, Tim.
Dick hummed, pulling away slowly. He brushed along Jason's side, who turned his head to watch him sashay away, heat in his eyes.
I'm happy for you two.
Tim blurted out, trying somehow to distract himself from the way the heat stirred in his own gut whenever Dick was nearby, amplified by Jason's presence. Jason's head whipped around to stare at him, surprise written on his face.
What? Why did you read it so unenthusiastically? Because I don't want to be here. I second that.
Even I agree with them.
At this point, I do too.
Tim verbally backpedaled, glancing away. Maybe they really didn't want anyone to know.
I mean, that you're getting along so well, that you've gotten together or getting along together.
Tim trailed off as Jason's expression slid from surprise to amusement. Well, if only Cassie could see him now. I light a Batman indeed. Geez, he must be even more tired than he thought. Jason cast a fond look at him before directing it towards the showers, where steam was pouring out as Dick took a quick shower. He leaned against the chair, sending another wave of his heaty scent at Tim.
I suppose everyone knows then.
He asked Tim ruefully. Tim shrugged.
Not sure,
he said, not trying to lie after his spectacular failure.
I noticed, but Steph still doesn't know you that well, and Cass hasn't been back in town. I'm not sure Damien cares enough to notice. Bruce, who can tell, and Alfred?
Jason snorted.
Alfred knows everything.
He recited the Bat family truth.
He probably knew before we did somehow. Honestly, Alfred probably knows everything. True. Yeah.
Tim acknowledged, turning back to his data entry, trying to ignore the way Jason stayed so firmly in his space, and the way it sent tingles of awareness up his right arm, which Jason was almost touching. He lost himself quickly in the numbers, tuning out the world with determination, trying to finish within the deadline he gave Dick. He hit enter and watched the program begin to crunch the numbers seconds before Dick's footsteps, deliberately audible in rebuke for Tim not being done yet, reached him. Jason reached out and took Dick's hand when he reached them, flushing lightly at Dick's surprised eye flick towards Tim and growling embarrassedly at Tim's thrilled smile when Tim didn't look surprised.
Oh, holy uncomfortable situations, Batman. You guys watching this can't see this, but Dick's face is so red it's practically on fire right now, and he looks so uncomfortable.
Dick reached out with his unoccupied hand to grasp Tim's hand and pull him up out of his chair.
Movie time!
He cheered, practically bouncing as he led them towards the stairs out of the cave.
I'll make the popcorn. Jay, could you grab us something to drink?
He held their hands all the way up the stairs, only letting go at the very top, and what Tim knew to be a small blind spot in Bruce's surveillance network. He dropped Jason's hand to pull him in the tenderest kiss Tim had ever seen, just a light brush of lips as his hand caressed his nape. He was still holding Tim's hand. When he finally turned to Tim and let go of his hand, Tim could feel his face flaming and hoped it wasn't obvious in the dim light. Dick leaned and pressed an equally delicate kiss to Tim's cheek. Bleh.
Set up the movie?
He asked, continuing when Tim nodded dumbly.
DVD is on the coffee table in the lounge.
He sauntered off, leaving Jason to laugh softly at the flummoxed look on Tim's face and clap him gently on the shoulder as he too walked away, hopefully before he noticed just how much Tim Body had liked that kiss. He was going to go set up a movie, to spend several hours, if he knew Dick, cuddled up on a tight couch with two men who made his blood boil, and who both happened to be off limits because they were together. He was so screwed. It was, in Tim's opinion, nearly sacrilege to not pay attention to this movie. It certainly had enough action and explosions to keep their attention. He'd honestly expected Dick to be crying within 10 minutes. Instead, no one was paying attention. He wondered what the geek version of Hail Mary was, because he was sure he needed to say a bunch because he couldn't focus, maybe reciting the Prime Directive. Though he's not sure anyone could blame him for not being able to pay attention, when he was sandwiched tight between two of the hottest men in existence, who hadn't stopped flirting with each other or him for the entire length of the movie thus far. He would never have pictured Jason for a cuddler, but the older man had leaned into his side gradually. 20 minutes after the movie started, he was pressed as tightly against Tim as Dick had been from the moment they had sat down. Between that and the popcorn bowl they had put in Tim's lap they both kept reaching into, yeah, Tim was distracted.
Two of the hottest men in existence? Seriously? You saying I'm not hot. Also, I don't cuddle. That's what you guys are upset about? And Jason, why are you so invested in this all of a sudden? You don't know me. You don't know my damn life. I am a free, independent woman who don't need no stinking scrub. I don't need to be hollered at by you or anyone else on the passenger side of your best friend's ride, because a scrub is a guy who ain't getting a piece out of this fine ass. Because I don't need no man to take care of me. I can pay my own bills, pay my own mortgage, I got myself a job, I can kill and hide my own dead bodies, because I am Miss Independent, and I am a classy lady. Meet a nice man, have him wine and dine me first, and take me out for a few cocktails, maybe some of those fruity and sexy named ones if I'm feeling spicy, and you know, if I like it, then I'm gonna be the one to put a ring on it. That's all nice and good, but what does that have to do with this? It doesn't, but I felt like it needed to be said. Did you just wink at me? Wait, are you wiggling your eyebrows now? Jason, please stop. You're scaring me.
Can we get back to what we're all here for? Or are y'all going to continue to waste my valuable time with your idiocy? Tim reached out, dislodging both of the hands that had been resting on his shoulders, and pressed pause on the remote. Something was going on. He wanted to know what was going on before they made him inattentive to the goodbye scene. The geek gods might forgive a lot, but not that.
Tim?
Dick asked, breaking off from a teasing comment to Jason about the time they defeated Mr. Freeze with a packet of chewing gum and a potato launcher. Tim would have doubted the story if he hadn't read the incident report, filed by Batman himself.
I am not even gonna question this. Tim, it's fanfiction. Never question it. What's going on?
Tim asked, slipped away from them both entirely to sit on the coffee table facing them, Jason's hand falling away from his thigh as Dick's dragged across his stomach, leaving cold, tingling trails behind them. They flowed seamlessly together to fill the space between them where he had been. Tim wouldn't try to deny the twinge he felt when they filled his spot so easily.
Dick looks like he's about to have a heart attack. At least it's not like Dick Damie, at least.
What did you just say?
Oh, there's stuff on the internet that you don't want to even know about. How do you two even know about this kind of stuff?
Stuff?
Why does she know about it?
Tumblr, apparently. Dick looked back at him calmly, his only tail a tiny bounce in his leg.
What do you mean, Tim? We're watching a movie. No.
Tim shook his head.
I'm watching a movie. You are touching me. Oh no, not touching.
There had been an inordinate amount of touching, hot hands on him and strong bodies pressed against him, teasing words directed not just at each other but at him. Dick shot Jason a panicked look. When it was turned, they both took a deep breath.
We weren't gonna say anything,
Jason said, apropos of nothing.
Because, well, you've only dated women. Ariana and Steph and Tam.
And wow, how did they even know about all of that? Had Dick told him? Why was Dick talking to Jason about his dating history? Was this where the prank started? Were they trying to set him up with someone?
But the Superboy keeps turning up with Pie, and Kid Flash keeps showing up to wow you with something new he's learned.
Dick interjected, frowning and clutching Jason to him harder until he grunted.
And the brat keeps pulling her pigtails,
said Jason, freeing an arm to reach around and tug on a lock of Tim's hair that was falling into his eyes.
And Bruce.
Tim had known intellectually that Dick could growl like that, but wow.
What? Dick just got up and walked around the couch. Now he's curled up, and I can't tell if he's snapped and he is hysterically laughing or is hysterically sobbing.
But wait, what?
Hold on, Con brings me pie because Ma can't worries I don't eat enough, and Bart comes over to play video games because they both like the games and the pace of them, and it's still good training for him.
Tim insisted, staring at them. Had they hit their heads?
Damien is trying to kill me, not pulling my pigtails, and I don't even want to know what you think Bruce is doing. Holy sh**. I think Dick is actually crying. He is not okay.
None of us are okay, Drake. Look at us. We all need therapy now.
You mean more than we already needed? They're all flirting with you is what they're doing, jockeying for your attention?
Jason growled, a fierce, possessive look in his eye as he sat forward, gripped tight on Dick's hand and his own thigh.
They all want you, baby bird, and why not?
The look in Jason's eyes as he stared at him made Tim blush. Again, it was hot but not simply lustful.
You guys might not have been able to hear it, but Dick just wailed. Damn, I really hope it got recorded. As much as I am hearing this and very much uncomfortable, seeing you all miserable is fun. We just wanted to put in our bid before you took one of them up on it.
Dick's voice rasped along Tim's nerves when he spoke, leaning his head against Jason's shoulders and nearly scorching Tim with his eyes.
Dick is still hiding behind the couch, by the way. That's why he sounded so far away.
Jason broke in, nearly on top of Dick.
We want you with us. Want you to be ours. Wow.
I hate all of you so much.
You picked the fic, Damien.
If I had to suffer, then so do all of you.
But now you're double suffering.
Tim stared at them, flabbergasted.
They're not all flirting with me,
he said before Jason's statement caught up with him.
Want me?
Dick murmured, eyes hooded and hot as he stared at Tim and kneaded at Jason's thigh.
Want you in our bed, Want you to come home to us at night. Want to hold you on the couch while you read reports, or watch stupid television, or our favorite movies. I think Dick might be hyperventilating. I might be about to join him. Want to cook for you in our kitchen, make sure you eat right, want to drag you away from your computer at night, and keep you in bed until late in the morning.
Jason picked up where Dick trailed off, and gosh, no one had the right to sound that sexy outside the bedroom.
Want to make you late for meetings and send you to the office mused and marked. Want to drive you crazy and make you mad. Forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. Wrong universe. For I have read this fic and read it out loud and have tainted your herd, O Lord. I think this fic broke them.
No more interruptions. Let's just finish this.
Want to be the place to come when you're angry or tired?
Dick reached out to him, laying a hand on his knee. Jason did not reach out, but held tighter to Dick, supporting his next words.
We want to love you. We do.
They were serious. They were offering him a place with them, not just on the outside of their own relationship, but as a central part, not as 2 and 1, but as 3. This was something he could have. He looked at the serious faces before him. He leaned forward and watched them float just as seamlessly apart to envelop him between them, creating space for him effortlessly as they tugged him back into their arms. This was something he could have.
Okay,
he said, watching happy smiles spread over both of their faces.
Okay, rule 1 of dating Tim Drake, though.
They both looked at him seriously, ready to do whatever it took.
Stop talking through Pacific Rim. Oh my gosh, guys, really, this is like the queen of geek movies. It's just not done. It's like me.
At this point, they simultaneously tackled him off the couch, shutting him up with tickling fingers and innumerable kisses. Tim rolled with it, giving back as good as he got, laughing through protests and sweet kisses. He'd make them watch the movie some other time, then they would understand. He dared them not to cry at Chuck and Stacker. He dared them.
Well, that happened. I'm not going to be able to look any of you in the eye for months. I need a drink. Several, in fact. You know what? Forget that. Give me the whole bottle. I wholeheartedly second that. I do too. I'd say Damien does too. Too bad he's like 11.
13.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Hold up. I just got a message from B saying that some baddies bust out of Arkham. Again? Didn't we already meet our monthly quota for that? Villains don't care about something as silly as your monthly Arkham Asylum breakout quota, Jason. In fact, if they heard about it, I bet they would try to break out even more, just to piss you off.
Shut up, Drake. Your voice is annoying and we don't have time for banter. We need to go suit up.
Damien's rude comment aside, he's right. We gotta go. Oh, now we gotta go. It couldn't have been sooner, like at the beginning of the recording. It's official. The universe hates me.
Because you had to read fan fiction is what made it official. Is being killed for being incompetent not enough for you?
You know, I tried to play nice, but I really think that I need to kick your scrawny little ass. Arkham, breakout. We don't have time for this. Exactly. Time to get moving. That being said, thanks for watching, everyone. I honestly regret this video, but still, sorry for abruptly leaving like this. But justice doesn't wait for anyone, whichever side you're on. See ya. Can I go now? After that, I seriously am in the mood to kick some ass. Yes, Jay, you can go. Hell yeah, later, losers.